Okay, so if you're here, you're probably tired of the 9 to 5 grind. You know, that feeling like you're just spinning your wheels and not really getting anywhere.
It's a pretty common sentiment these days. Actually, a lot of people are starting to question the whole idea of trading their time for a paycheck that barely covers the bills.
Yeah, and this YouTube podcast we're diving into today really nails it. It's called Why Your 9 to 5 is Killing Your Potential and What to Do Instead. And it just lays it all out there.
I think what's interesting is this idea that the 9 to 5 is actually a trap. And historically, work was often about survival, just meeting basic needs. But now people are looking for more than just a paycheck. They want purpose, they want autonomy, and they want to feel like their work actually matters.
Right, and the video doesn't hold back. It calls out 3 major problems with the 9 to 5. Limited income, constant burnout, and that feeling of being easily replaceable. They even show this image of a ripped paycheck to illustrate the point.
Oh, yeah, that visual is powerful. It really drives home the idea that we're giving up so much of our time, this precious finite resource, for a reward that often doesn't even match the effort or the rising cost of living.
It's like you're stuck on a treadmill, running and running, but not really getting anywhere.
Exactly. And studies have actually shown that this lack of autonomy at work can have a huge impact on our well-being. It's linked to everything from decreased motivation to actual physical health problems.
Wow. So it's not just about the money. It's about having control over your life and feeling like you're actually making progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where this idea of a mindset shift comes in that the video talked about.
Yeah, they say we need to start valuing our time more than money. Focus on owning assets instead of just chasing job titles and prioritize freedom over the so-called security of a traditional job.
Those are some big shifts, and I think it's important to unpack what they actually mean in practice.
Yeah. For example, when they say value your time, what does that really look like in everyday life? Is it about becoming obsessed with productivity hacks, or are we talking about something deeper?
It's definitely deeper than just squeezing more tasks into your day. It's more about being intentional with how you spend your time and making sure that your actions are aligned with your values and goals.
I can definitely relate to that feeling of time slipping away. Like you're constantly busy, but not really making progress on the things that truly matter.
It's a common struggle, and I think part of the problem is that we're so conditioned to equate our worth with our productivity.
Yeah, it's like we're all caught up in this hustle culture where being busy is seen as a badge of honor.
Right. But the truth is that busyness doesn't always equal effectiveness. And sometimes the most productive thing you can do is actually slow down, step back, and reassess your priorities.
So it's about working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly. And that brings us to this idea of assets, which the video talks about.
Yeah, that's a word that I think a lot of people immediately associate with money or property.
It's definitely part of it, but the video actually takes a broader view of assets. It's not just about financial wealth, but also about building a portfolio of skills, knowledge, and connections that can support you no matter what life throws your way.
So it's like building a safety net for yourself, not just financially, but in all areas of your life.
Precisely. And that safety net can give you the freedom and flexibility to pursue opportunities that might not have been available to you otherwise.
This is all making so much sense. But I have to admit, this whole idea of prioritizing freedom over security still feels a bit risky to me. I mean, we're all kind of programmed to believe that a stable job equals security, even if it's not necessarily fulfilling.
Yeah, it's a big mental shift for sure. But the reality is that the traditional idea of job security is becoming less and less relevant in today's world.
How so?
Well, the job market is constantly changing. Technology is automating tasks that used to be done by humans, and companies are becoming more global and decentralized.
So what you're saying is that the old model of working for the same company for 40 years and retiring with a pension is pretty much a thing of the past.
Pretty much. And that's why it's more important than ever to invest in yourself, develop skills that are in demand, and create multiple streams of income so that you're not reliant on any one source.
Okay, so it's not about being reckless. It's about being proactive and taking control of your own future.
Exactly. And the video actually shares a really inspiring example of a guy named Jake who was a teacher but felt trapped by the low pay and lack of freedom.
Oh yeah, what happened to him?
Well, he started tutoring online in his free time as a way to earn some extra cash. And he ended up loving it so much that he eventually quit his teaching job to focus on his online tutoring business full-time.
Wow, so he was able to replace his income and gain more freedom at the same time.
Exactly. And not only that, but he was also able to triple his income and travel the world while doing it.
That's incredible. So it's possible to actually create a life that's both financially rewarding and personally fulfilling.
Absolutely. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. And that's the whole point of this video, to show people that there's another way, a way to escape the 9 to 5 trap and create a life that's truly aligned with your values and aspirations.
Okay, I'm feeling super inspired, but I'm also someone who needs a plan. So what are the concrete steps that people can take to actually make this happen? The video mentions an action plan, right?
It is. It's all about taking action. And that's where the video's 3-step action plan comes in.
Okay, so break it down for me. What are the 3 steps?
Well, the first step is to audit your time. Really take a close look at where your hours are going.
Okay, time audits, I've heard of those.
Yeah.
But honestly, they always seem kind of intimidating. Like, who has time to track every single minute of their day?
Yeah, I get it. It doesn't have to be that intense. The goal isn't to become some kind of time-tracking robot. It's more about gaining awareness of your patterns and seeing where you might be wasting time on things that aren't really moving you forward.
So like maybe you discover that you're spending way too much time scrolling through social media or binge watching Netflix when you could be working on your side hustle.
Exactly. Or maybe you realize that you're spending hours each week commuting when you could be working remotely and reclaiming that time for yourself.
Yeah, okay, so let's say I do this time audit and I find some areas where I can be more efficient. What's next?
That's where step 2 comes in, learning a scalable skill.
Okay, scalable skill. What exactly does that mean?
Basically, it's a skill that you can use to create value for others and that has the potential to grow into something bigger than just trading your time for money.
So for example, instead of working as a cashier where you're limited by the number of hours you can physically work, you could learn how to build websites and potentially earn income from multiple clients at the same time.
Exactly. Or you could learn how to write marketing copy or create online courses or manage social media accounts. These are all skills that are in high demand and can be scaled to reach a wider audience.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, myself included, feel like they don't have any skills that would be considered scalable.
Oh, I bet you do. You just might not realize it. Think about the things you're already good at or enjoy doing.
Like what?
Well, for example, are you really organized and detail-oriented? Maybe you could offer virtual assistant services or project management.
Hmm, interesting. Okay, what a,
Are you good at explaining things to people? Maybe you could try online tutoring or creating instructional videos.
okay, those are some good ideas.
Uh,
But what if you're starting from scratch? Like you literally have no idea what skills to learn or where to even begin.
that's where online learning platforms can be a game changer.
Yeah, like Coursera, Skillshare, Udemy, things like that.
Exactly. Those platforms offer courses on pretty much any skill you can imagine, and a lot of them are super affordable or even free.
So you could literally go from knowing nothing about web development to building your own website in a matter of weeks.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And the best part is that you can learn at your own pace from anywhere in the world.
Wow, that's incredible. So let's say you've audited your time, you've identified a scalable skill, and you started learning. What's the final step?
The final step is the most important one, taking action.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice?
It could mean starting a side hustle alongside your 9 to 5.
Okay, so like what kind of side hustle?
Well, it depends on your skills and interests. Maybe you start freelancing, offering your newfound skills to clients online.
Or maybe you launch an e-commerce store or create and sell online courses.
Exactly. The possibilities are pretty much endless. And the key is to just start somewhere, even if it's just a small step.
So don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Just get started and figure things out as you go.
Exactly. The more you experiment and take action, the more you'll learn and the closer you'll get to your goals.
This is all so inspiring, but I have to admit, I still have some doubts. Like what if I fail? What if I invest all this time and energy into something that doesn't work out?
Failure is a part of the process. Everyone who's ever achieved anything great has faced setbacks and challenges along the way.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it and using it as fuel to keep moving forward.
Exactly. And it's also about surrounding yourself with supportive people who believe in you and your vision.
Yeah, like a community of like-minded individuals who can offer encouragement and accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having that support system can make a world of difference, especially when you're facing those inevitable bumps in the road.
Okay, this is all making so much sense. But I think a lot of people, including myself, struggle with where to even begin. There are so many options out there. It can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's where it's important to narrow your focus and identify what truly matters to you.
So what are your passions? What are your strengths? What kind of lifestyle do you ultimately want to create?
Exactly. Once you have a clear vision of your goals, it becomes easier to filter out the noise and choose the path that feels most aligned with your values.
Okay, that's really helpful. But what about those who don't have a lot of free time to devote to learning new skills or starting a side hustle? Like maybe they have a demanding job or family responsibilities.
I get it. It's all about finding ways to integrate these things into your existing life, even if it's just small chunks of time here and there.
So maybe instead of watching TV for an hour each night, you spend that time learning a new skill or working on your side hustle.
Exactly. Or maybe you wake up an hour earlier each day to work on your passion project before the rest of the world wakes up.
So it's about being intentional with your time and finding creative ways to make it work for you.
Exactly. And remember, even small steps taken consistently can lead to big results over time.
Welcome back for the final part of this deep dive.
Uh,
And now that we've covered the what and the why of escaping the 9 to 5, I'm really excited to dig into the how. Like, what are the actual tools and resources that people can use to make this happen?
yeah, so now we get to talk about the practical stuff,
Yeah.
the things that can really help you turn those dreams into a reality.
Okay, so let's talk tools. What are some of the must-haves for anyone looking to break free from the 9 to 5?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say online learning platforms are absolutely essential. These days, you can learn pretty much any skill imaginable online.
Yeah, there's so many options out there.
Yeah.
Coursera, Skillshare, Udemy, YouTube even. I mean, it can be kind of overwhelming.
It's true, but that's also what makes it so exciting. You're no longer limited by geography or cost. You can learn from world-renowned experts right from your living room.
I have to admit, I've always been a bit skeptical of online learning. Like, can you really learn complex skills effectively just by watching videos?
Absolutely. The quality of online courses has improved drastically in recent years. You get structured lessons, downloadable resources, quizzes, assignments, sometimes even live Q&A sessions with the instructors.
So it's not just passively watching videos, it's like a real interactive learning experience.
Exactly. And the best part is that you can learn at your own pace.
Yeah,
You can rewind, replay, slow down the videos, whatever you need to do to really grasp the material.
that's so helpful. Yeah. Especially for people who are juggling work, family, or other commitments.
Right. And speaking of juggling commitments, we should also talk about free resources because not everyone has the budget to enroll in paid courses or programs.
Yeah, what are some good free resources that people can tap into?
Well, there are tons of amazing blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels, even free email courses and ebooks out there.
Hmm.
It's incredible how much valuable information is available for free if you know where to look.
I think one of the challenges with all this online information, though, is that it can feel kind of isolating. Yeah. Like you're on this journey by yourself.
That's a good point. And that's why networking is so important. Connecting with other entrepreneurs, freelancers, people who are on a similar path as you.
Yeah. But networking can be kind of intimidating, especially for introverts like me.
I hear you. But it doesn't have to be scary. Start by finding online communities or Facebook groups where people are talking about the things that interest you.
Okay, so like maybe a group for freelance writers or web developers or digital marketers.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to participate in the conversations. Ask questions. Share your own experiences.
It's all about building relationships and supporting each other.
Right. And as you start to connect with people online, you might even find opportunities to collaborate on projects or refer clients to each other.
It's like building a whole ecosystem of support.
Exactly. And as you start to build your network, you might even consider finding a mentor, someone who's already achieved the kind of success you're striving for.
A mentor, that sounds great. But how do you even go about finding a mentor?
Well, it doesn't have to be some kind of formal arrangement.
Uh-huh.
It could be someone you already know, a friend, a family member, a former colleague, or even someone you admire online.
So reach out to people whose work you respect or whose journey resonates with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can also attend industry events or conferences where you're likely to meet potential mentors.
And sometimes mentorship can come from unexpected places too.
Yeah,
You never know who might be willing to offer guidance or support.
that's so true. And while we're talking about learning and growth, we should also mention the power of books.
Yes, books are amazing. You can learn so much from reading the stories and insights of people who have walked the path before you.
Exactly. And there are books on literally every topic imaginable. Business, finance, mindset, personal development, you name it.
It's like having a personal library of mentors right at your fingertips.
Exactly. And another thing I would recommend is attending workshops or conferences.
Yeah, those can be really valuable, especially for getting hands-on experience and learning from experts in a more interactive setting.
Right. And it's also a great way to connect with other like-minded people and get inspired by their stories and successes.
Okay, we've covered online learning platforms, free resources, networking, mentorship, books, workshops, conferences. Anything else we should add to our toolkit?
Well, one last thing I would say is don't be afraid to invest in yourself.
What do you mean by that?
So, I mean, sometimes you have to spend money to make money, whether it's hiring a coach, enrolling in a high-end course, or attending a retreat. Sometimes the best resources require a financial investment.
I think that's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in the freebie mindset,
Hmm.
but sometimes you have to be willing to put some skin in the game.
Right. It's about prioritizing your growth and development and seeing it as an investment in your future.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it all comes down to taking action, right?
Absolutely. You can have all the knowledge and tools in the world, but if you don't actually use them, they won't do you any good.
It's like having a fancy sports car, but never taking it out of the garage.
Exactly. So the key is to start taking action, even if it's just small steps at first.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right. There will be ups and downs, challenges and setbacks. But the important thing is to keep moving forward and never give up on your dreams.
So as we wrap up this episode, what's one final piece of advice you want to leave our listeners with?
Believe in yourself. You have the power to create the life you want. You just have to take that first step and keep going.
That's such a powerful message. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and wisdom with us today. It's been an incredible journey.
It's been my pleasure. And to everyone listening out there, remember you got this. Go out there and create the life of your dreams.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another exploration of the world beyond the 9 to 5.